much going on. So I did have a lot of time to dedicate to reading, and that's kind of like a lot where, like a lot of the time and effort I could put into these books came from. But I read 15 books this month, and I like started to, so 17 books we're going to talk about today. But before we get started, in literally just 1 minute, I have some personal stuff to quickly discuss with you. So first of all, I am doing my subscribers to ASMR for my 7k special. So if you've always wanted to try ASMR, or you even have your own ASMR channel ready, come and join. I'll leave all the details down below, but I would absolutely love to see you there. And if you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe and like and comment this video. I would love to have you here and have you in my little book girly fam. I think lately we've really like grown to be a bit of a book channel, and I'm like loving it. But I hope you guys enjoyed as well. But if you have ever thought about subscribing, and I know a lot of you must have, because a lot of my watch time is from non-subscribers, so I see you guys. But I'm planning on doing a nice little giveaway. Little spoiler for those who are here today. And I've prepared this for so long, and it's gonna be like the biggest giveaway I've ever done, which doesn't say much now I'm thinking about it, but it's gonna be big. And like the plan is that every single person is gonna win something. That's the plan, so come and join the channel and hang out with me. I promise we have a fun time here. But enough yapping. Let's get started. The first book I read this month was the new release by Freida McFadden, which was The Boyfriend. And I thought this was really good. In retrospective, I probably would have rated it a little lower than I originally did. I gave it 5 stars. I think it was a 5-star in the moment because it hit very well, but I think compared to other books, it kind of isn't a 5-star, you know what I mean? But The Boyfriend follows Sydney, who is a very, very desperate single and wants to get in a relationship no matter what. And one day she meets this guy, Tom, I think, and they kind of start their relationship, but something about him is really, really weird. And then one of her friends gets murdered, and even more women in her area start dying. So she kind of starts suspecting that Tom has something to do with it. Now I will say the book is written in a dual timeline, which I do enjoy, but it's not my absolute favorite. However, I thought it worked really well. I didn't guess the ending be a little more aware of the plot, but like I wasn't, because I've never had any connection to that movie. This is probably embarrassing to admit, but I just never got around. I don't know. It's not even like I don't want to, it just never happened. But yeah, I did enjoy it. You guys know I'm a sucker for Freida McFadden. They are just, like, listen, they're not masterpieces. I probably forgot half the ones I read, but they're fast-paced, they're entertaining, and they're easy. And then sometimes it's just right what I need and what I'm in the mood for. So, you know, I really enjoyed it. And I'm really excited for a new release, because that's kind of like, sounds like right up my alley for what, like, our books are the, like, hitting the best for me. So I'm really excited. But I did enjoy it. The 5-star rating was maybe a little in the spur of a moment, you know. Alright, but the next book I read was Whyyyy by Elsie. I finally got around reading it, and I did really enjoy it. However, I think I didn't fully connect to Skylar as much. This book follows Skylar, who is a singer, a country singer, and Western Belmont, who is Rosie's brother from the Wild Love book. And Skylar is kind of running away from her fame, from her Hollywood life, and ends up where else than with Western, because she's trying to record an album with Rosie and names. I don't know. Anyway, the first book couple. So she stays with West and his children, and kind of from there on it goes. I will say the characters I enjoyed the most were the children. They're so incredibly cute, especially the little boy. I think he was like very described as neurodivergent, and I thought that made for a really complex and sweet character that I found very enjoyable. However, it kind of like started with that, and then it just kind of entirely lost it out of the plot. That he and Rosie got along pretty well. It just completely got drowned out the longer we went on. And I will say, Rosie, as I said, she's not my favourite character. West, however, I really liked, but Rosie, I don't know, she just gave me, I mean, that's kind of like her role in the book, but she gave me kind of like a lot like docile, complacent woman who does not do anything for herself vibes, and she did that for quite a while, and it's kind of like, you know, her character arc. But I will say, like, in the end, realistically, she still didn't like do anything major for herself. I don't know. And to give it 4 stars, because like, I'm just complaining here. I did really like the book. I thought it was really enjoyable. It wasn't the fastest read for me. I think I full and read this for like 10 days, so it kind of dragged a little bit for me, because for all the Elsie Silver books I've read, I think I just wasn't as much into this one as I was into the other ones. So, but like, listen, I still loved it. However, I will say I'm slightly scared of the next characters we're going to follow in the next book of this series, because they got introduced a little more in this book. They already made like slight appearances be surprised. It is an arranged marriage trope, so we'll see how that's gonna go. But yeah, you know, I did enjoy it. It's just been a while, so I had a lot of time to think about it. But yeah, 4 stars. Next up, I did a reread of Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas. This is the first book, The House of Earth and Blood. And I've said before that Crescent City is my favourite Sarah J. Maas series so far. Because I can't say this on BookTube, but I've soft DNF'd The Throne of Glass 2 years ago. Because I just couldn't get through the 3rd book. I just fell off at the 3rd book, and I've never finished the series, but have it, and I'm planning on rereading it, and then actually finishing the series. But so far, this is my winner. And I got the dramatized audiobook, and it was kind of listening and rereading at the same time, because the audiobooks, the graphic audiobooks, they're my kryptonite. I love the audiobooks. They're so well done and so well performed. I think they're really, really enjoyable. So I really wanted to get immersed again. And you know what? It didn't hit as much as when I was reading it for the first time. I think this was really just one of the books that found me at the very, very perfect time. But I still loved it. I gave it 5 stars. If you can listen to these graphic audiobooks, they're literally, I think they're masterpieces. But yeah, if you're not aware of the Crescent City books, they follow Bryce in the city of Crescent City, obviously, and it's more of a modern fantasy world. It's like a full-blown city. There's technology and everything, and in this city there's a huge array of creatures living there. There's fae, there's vampires, there's mer people, there's snakes, there's wolves. There's every fantasy creature you could think about. There's witches. It's just really, really busy. However, I think that makes for some amazing world building. But I will say, if you're not big on world building, and when I say big, I mean big, then this is probably not the book for you. But if you're looking for a really, really high fantasy that's gonna really evolve a world, this might be a girl. But Bryce is tasked with following, doing an investigation into her best friend's murder, and a hunt is supposed to help her. Hunt is an angel who works for the police force basically, and they need to solve the murder of a friend. It's kind of the basis, and I can't say more because I'd be spoiling it. But yeah, I forgot there's also angels and demons, and it's so much world building. It's a lot. But I think it does found family very great. There's a lot of characters in this book, and I will say this book is very much mostly out of Bryce's perspective, and we get a little bit of Hunt, but the next books in the series, they're going to go really, really crazy on giving you a lot of different plots. There's a lot of points of views. There's a lot more of different characters telling the story out of different perspectives and different timelines at the same time. So it gets a lot, but the first book just gets, and I really enjoyed it. I'm not sure if I'll continue reading the entire series again, but I really enjoyed the reread. Well, next up, I picked up The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn and that book is Lightlark by Aster. And listen, this author is really, really big on TikTok. Like, she herself does a lot of content to promote her books, and you know, that's been really, really working for her. I think she sold so many books of these, and it's getting adapted into movies or shows, I don't know. Like, listen, I was kind of a little bit sick of it. I thought it was a bit stupid. Like, I'm just not there. I don't know, I wasn't the biggest fan of her on TikTok, let's just say that. So, I was a little bit torn about this one. Like, I expected to not like it, especially because I heard very, very mixed reviews about her writing. So, I kind of went in thinking I'm not going to enjoy it. And then I really enjoyed it, and I kept thinking about it, and then all of a sudden I found myself with the next 2 books in the series in my shopping cart, and I was like, hold up, did I really like this book? And I did. I gave it 3.75 stars, so like a little less than a 4-star read. And I feel like that's kind of what it was for me. It's not the greatest writing, I will say, but it was very fast-paced. It didn't get boring. It's just one plot after the other. But I will say, I couldn't connect to the characters as much. In this book, we follow Isla, who is the queen of the wildlings. And like, listen, there's so much world lore and world building in this book that's slightly confusing, but there is this, and like, I feel like I was so confused about this part because it wasn't explained very well, but there's this island, Lightlark, that comes up every 100 years. Yeah, every 100 years, the island of Lightlark appears for only 100 days to host a deadly game where the rulers of 6 realms fight to break the curse and win unparalleled power. So, each of these realms has a curse. For example, Isla's and the wildlings' curse is that they need to eat human hearts, and if they fall in love, they need to kill their lover. So they basically can't love, and they eat hearts, which, like, obviously doesn't make them very popular with every other person in this world. So we kind of get dumped into the story at where she actually goes to Lightlark. However, as far as I understood it, I didn't get the island only appears every 100 years thing, because there's like literal structures and people living on this island, and there's this castle this king always lives at. That's where they're at. So like, how can he live there all the time? And how can everyone else have like buildings and stuff there if this island only we didn't get the Hunger Games vibes that I was initially thinking we were going to get, but I didn't hate it. Isla is just kind of, you know, trying to run around, and she's kind of on a bit of a side quest. Let's just say that. And that I thought was really, really interesting. As I said, there was like a lot of stuff happening. You kind of didn't have time to think about if the characters were well developed, or if the world was built properly, if there were any plot holes, because it was constantly just something new happening, which I didn't really enjoy. Like, I did, but it is supposed to also be a bit of a romance subplot, and like, listen, I just didn't get any romance at all. I hate when books are supposed to be romance and then they proceed to not be romantic at all, and then just at the end be like, she loves this guy, and you're like, when did that happen? When she didn't think about that at any point in the entire story. So that was what I kind of found confusing. As I said, the book has a few problems, but it was fun, and I will continue the series. And I was positively shocked by this book, because against my initial thoughts, I did enjoy it, and I did actually like think about the book afterwards, which always is kind of a sign for me that I really liked it. So I give it 4 stars, or like, you know, 3.75. The next book was an audiobook I listened to, and I thought in spirits of Halloween I would listen to a bit of a Halloween book. So I picked A Halloween Homicide by Tonya Kappes, and this is part of the Holiday Cozy Mysteries series, and there's actually like loads of these books. There is like Christmas one, a Thanksgiving one I've seen, just loads for every holiday there's a book, and I thought that was kind of cute, and I wanted to initially, you know, continue the series if I enjoy the book, but it just felt very, very flat for me. I gave it 2 stars, just to take that away in the beginning. We follow Violet, who's a reporter for the Small Town magazine, and when she like goes around town on this spooky walk, they find a dead body, and she kind of makes it her thing to figure out who the murderer is for the magazine. So, you know, she goes off, she tries to investigate, and listen, I don't know, it was just boring. There was like no tension. I zoned out about like 1 billion times. It's very much a cozy mystery. I think this maybe would have worked better if I would have read it instead of listened to it, because usually when I listen to something, I'm also doing something else. Whether it be like drawing, or in my case, like working, because I can, like, I listen to most of my audiobooks while I work, because I'm like fortunate enough that I can while I'm working. So, you know, and I was just not listening for like half the time, or just barely, and I thought like the entire characters and stuff, they like felt so flat. There's no background story or anything, you don't get to know these characters. It was just giving absolutely nothing. It was also not really giving Halloween, because the main character actually doesn't like Halloween. Like, the only part that gave Halloween was that there was Halloween and someone was dead, but that's literally it. And then I snuck through it because I wanted to know who was the murderer, and then I thought the ending was so rushed and so random, like completely random. So yeah, I don't know, I just didn't really love the book, and I will not be continuing the Holiday Cozy Mystery series, unfortunately. Alright, next up, I picked up a book that I was really, really excited for, and it is Brutal Prince by Sophie Lark, that I just recently toxic and bland. They have no personality, and I kind of thought that was the case in this book as well. That Callum's entire personality is being toxic. Like, that's it. Being toxic, being possessive, and being weirdly neurotic about random stuff. Like, he wants to be a politician, so he wants Ida to be this perfect wife. He literally takes all her clothes and then gives her an entire new wardrobe with clothes she doesn't actually wear, and she thinks that they're uncomfortable. It's just like, ultimately, I'm like not sure I cannot follow these romances. We could have just written the exact same book if we just would have made Callum, you know, very jealous, which he is, very possessive of his woman. We love a man, I don't know, but like left out the like toxic masculinity where he's just trying to control her for no reason, especially because that entire plot, the entire thing of him wanting to control her, just gets completely dropped in the end and never mentioned again. It just, at some point, he just magically wakes up one day and doesn't even actively decide to not trying to control her anymore. It just doesn't get mentioned anymore ever again. And then, you know, happily ever after, or something like that. So yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't initially rate it, but like now thinking about it, I think I give it 3 stars. But listen, it was still entertaining, it was still fun, and probably going to continue the series just because they are fun to read. But the man ain't shit. They also like zero personality. As I said, that's my biggest critique with these morally grey male characters that we are supposed to fall in love with. Like, I just don't see where, and I don't see why, because the only personality trait is being toxic. Like, he doesn't even have a hobby. Like, he doesn't even like golf or anything. Like, it's always the girls that are like more faceted, have hobbies, friends and stuff. And this man is plain bananas with red flags poked on top of them. Like, that's literally it. And they might be good at sex, but like, that's it. I will say though, what's really cute about these books is they have little drawings every few chapters, which I thought that was really, really fun. I will say though, do not take this book in public. Just trust me. Don't read this book in public, because there are certain drawings in there of certain scenes you do not want to be caught looking at in public. Just a little disclaimer. Alrighty, the next book I read is I'm not sure, but like I did count it, so whatever, is the 10-year edition of Milk and Honey by Rupi Kaur. And listen, I love this edition. It's so stunning. Like, truly, it's just like a gorgeous, gorgeous masterpiece. And I'm usually not like hugely obsessed with poetry, but this one just really did it for me. I only read bits and bobs of Milk and Honey before. I've never read the entire collection, so I did, and like annotated a little bit that you can't really see. There wasn't like a lot I wanted to annotate as poems, but I thought this was really cute. I'm like not writing it because I have no idea how to write it in like comparison to, you know, like storyline books. I just have no grading system for poetry collections, but I thought it was really cute. The 10-year edition has a whole new chapter of poems in it that aren't in Milk and Honey, and it got annotations and a little bit more about the author, about Ruby, and I thought that was really, really cute. I loved getting to know more about her, and I kind of thought what was special about this book were those there's a little annotations from her where she kind of talks about how and why she wrote these poems. I had to wait a second because I think someone out there is mowing their lawns. But yeah, Milk and Honey, I really liked a few of the poems, but a lot of them also were kind of irrelevant to me. And like, you know, a few of them touched me, especially like they're broken into chapters. And the first chapter is The Hurting, and in The Hurting her poems are about her and her dad's relationship, and they're about her experience with unconsensual sexual activities, and those were kind of the poems I could definitely like relate to the most. I was kind of trying to go really slow with these poems because yes, I could have like read them in one sitting, you know. But yeah, I think I was even like crying at some points. In that chapter, I thought that one was really good. But the rest of them, I just kind of think were a little weaker. The next chapter is just fully about her and her sexual experiences, and that didn't do it for me at all. But yeah, like overall, I really enjoyed it. And listen, I think the whole point of this book is to look pretty, and that it does. The next book I picked up was an ebook, and it was Graveyard Shift by M.L. Rio. I've never read anything by this author, and this is a very short 150-page novella, and I read it really quickly, and I didn't enjoy it that much. It was very atmospheric, I'll give it that, but like in the end it just fell so flat for me. I was so angry, I gave it 2 stars. The book follows a group of students that discover a weird thing going on at the graveyard, and then they try and follow that up throughout the night. And the whole book is set in this one night, like in these like 8 hours basically. And as I said, it's very atmospheric, it does that well, but you get one chapter, or maybe 2 for some, out of each student's perspective, and then that's literally it. The stories are just done. And like, listen, there could have been so much more to this book. I think you could have easily wrote a full book and not a novella out of the story. And I think because it just was a novella, there was so much that felt unsatisfied at the end of the book. My main critique with the book is you get like rolled up in all these people's lives and in this weird thing that was going on at this graveyard and in this story, and then it's just done. The book's just done, and you're like, I thought we were just getting started. And you know, the book's just done, that's it. And maybe some people can appreciate that as like an art form of a book wanting, like leaving you to want more. But it just didn't do that for me, you know. I was like waiting for it to be more the entire time, and it just wasn't. And then the other thing I will say is, like the thing that happens, and then what like starts the plot is very scientific, and is described very scientifical, and like it's very close to biology, and I literally study biology, and I was just kind of like, wait, what? This is not entirely making a lot of sense. So if this isn't something that even interests you, or you like knowledge about, or you know, it's kind of like with medicine, if there's just terms that are thrown around and not explained, it just doesn't make sense sometimes. So if that isn't your vibe, like, don't pick it up. I mean, listen, I don't think it's a book I'd recommend. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I can say more. It just fell short. It wasn't anything special. But then, listen, I read The Ex-Hex by Erin Sterling. And that book, that gave me everything I wanted it to be for Halloween. Everything. It was so good. So the book follows Vivi, who is a witch, and she lives in this witchy town. And one day when she's young, when she had a bit of drinks, she curses her ex-boyfriend, Reese Penello, the name is Lee, who is from a very influential, rich witch family. Is he witch? I think he is. Like, that's. Oh. Yeah. Anyway, and then years later, Reese comes back into town, and the ex-hex has taken on like bigger things than Vivi ever thought it would ever do. She thought she was just messing around. So she has to work together with Reese to break the curse she put on him and to save their little city. And listen, it was just so good. It was so atmospherical, and it was so cute. It was so cozy, because, you know, she's not it's not like a dark academia witchy setting. It's more of a small town witch setting. She's a teacher at this university, and she teaches normal students, and, you know, she's just a very, very cute character, and so is Reese. And listen, the romance, it just did it for me, you know. It is very much a second chance, which I usually, like, it's not my favorite trope, but it was so well done. It is so witty and fun, and Reese is such a good book boyfriend. He's so supportive of her. And maybe you reflected on why the relationship didn't work last time. And I don't know, it's so cute. There are more books in the series, and I will definitely be continuing it. I gave it 4 stars. It was perfect, and it fit the vibe so well. So, you know, next Halloween, or even if you're now still in the mood, that is definitely a book I would recommend. Right, now to one of my this month highlights, and I think this book is one of my, like, yearly highlights. I think. So, the next book I picked up is Belladonna by Adalyn Grace, and this was buried for so long on my TBR, and I finally defrosted it. And I really enjoyed this book. So, we're following Signa Farrow, who is an orphan and is kind of getting passed around from family to family, but death kind of seems to be following her everywhere she goes. So old people that are supposed to watch her kind of mysteriously tend to die. So she gets sent to the Hawthorns, and the Hawthorns is arguably the best family she's ever been. And her cousin, I think she has the Blythe, is very sick. And there is a ghost haunting the Hawthorn house that really wants to protect Blythe from dying, and sends Signa on a quest to solve what is behind this sickness. So Signa needs Death's help, because Death is a person in this book, to actually uncover what is going on and save this first family she's actually been really enjoying to stay at. And oh my god, this is so, like, dark. I don't know if you could consider it academia, because, like, there's no academy there, but it is very atmospheric and dark, and she has to learn like etiquette. She's a young lady, a single standing with a big fortune to inherit, stuff like that. And like the atmosphere in this book, like chef's kiss. I did only give this 4 stars because I will say it was a little bit slow in the beginning to like set the stories and the characters up. So in the beginning I was like, average read, but then like halfway through it got so good, and I fell in love with Signa, with death, and like the incarnation of death. The story, like this world, it is very well done world building. And this book, oh my god, it has my whole soul. Like there are things like death aside, because it's kind of, you know, maybe a romance. Oh, like to die for. I wish I would have annotated this book. It's just amazing. I don't know. It was really cute. It's also really different. Like I feel like I haven't read anything like it, so I really enjoyed it. I will 100% be continuing the series, and I'm thinking that the next book is maybe gonna be a 5-star read for me. And the thing is, I know I rated 2 books in the beginning of this 5 stars, but I'm kind of craving a really good 5-star read. I feel like I haven't had a, oh my god, this book has changed my entire life book in a while now, and I'm kind of really craving that as of late. I don't know, I'm in the mood for a life-changing 5-star book read, and I'm kind of like, the first bit of the book was kind of a 3-star read to me, and then it just became a 5-star read, so, you know, I landed on a 4 overall, but I'm really hoping that the next book is gonna be my long-awaited, like a 5-star big read. So yeah, I can definitely recommend this if you haven't already read it, because I'm a bit late to this party. Right, next, I'm very happy to report that I did pick up The Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Laurie Gilmore. Now I've had this on my CBR since last winter when my boyfriend gifted it to me in my advent calendar, and I didn't want to waste it on, like, you know, a winter read. I wanted it to hit in the season, and that it did. So we follow Jeannie, who inherits the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, and she meets Logan, a local farmer who's a bit of a troubled past because he's been hurt before, and from there on we go. It's very much a grumpy ex-Sunshine and like small city. However, there's weird things going on in the cafe which he helps her to kind of like solve and stick out, and that gives the whole book kind of a little bit of a plot, which I thought was really well done. I will say, I'm not the biggest fan of insecure men in books. Like, you know, I don't want to say that because, like, men are also, you know, allowed to be emotional and insecure, but I think I would say the same thing about a woman being that insecure, because listen, Jeannie gives him no hint or anything to be insecure, but he's just very hung up on his ex and what happened, and insecure. But listen, this book, like, realistically, if I would have not read this in full, it would probably be not a 4-star read, but it was just so cute. It was so gooey. I think gooey is the right word. If you don't want a very cutesy, small town, like, cozy read, but you expect an actual storyline, you know, an actual, like, soul-crushing romance, but it's just a short book. It's 108 pages, and it follows this cafe in which there is one seat where you can travel into the past and meet someone who's previously been at that cafe, but you only have until your coffee gets cold. So in this book we get 4 short little interconnected stories about different people visiting this cafe and traveling back in time for various reasons. And this was kind of like, I mean, what would this book be considered? Like maybe like lit fic, and it's not a genre I like usually read, but I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the short little stories, the like lessons the book wants to teach you, because there are like some subtle life lessons to be learned in this book. I thought they were really enjoyable. However, it's not the greatest book I've read. I think I gave it 3 stars, because just in my heart I know it's not a 4-star read, and it wasn't as impactful as it could have been. It's very much okay, it was great that I read it, but like, moving on book. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure if I'll continue the series. Maybe, but like, probably not, because there's, like, it's not a bad book, there's nothing wrong with it, but I think there's just so many books that I would rather read, which is why this is a 3-star. Alright, the last book that I've listened to actually before we get into my current reads is C Playay by Hazelwood. And listen, I didn't even know this book existed. I didn't know it was supposed to come out. Not all. Like, I just hadn't heard about this book at all. But if you haven't heard about it yet, let me be the first one to tell you about it. It is a short story, it's a novella, and it's a Spotify original. So if you're in possession of an American or Australian, I think those are the only countries that are currently doing that account, getting the Spotify audiobooks, you will have access to this audiobook. I did see it on Audible, and I listened to it on Everend, which also has it, but it is an audiobook exclusive, and I was so shocked that I completely missed this release that I looked it up, and Hazelwood said the written book to this is probably only going to come somewhat into the next year, because it is contracted to be an audio original for a while. So there you go. You can also go and listen to it. It follows Viola and Jessie, who are arch nemesis in their field of work. They're both game designers, and something has happened in the past. They don't like each other, be very excited to see you again on this channel. Don't forget to send me some videos for my subscribers to ASMR video